Welcome to another edition of Brazil Bound, where thankfully for US fans, our predictions on the last show did not have the usual jinx effect that we see when everyone picks the same result. With Andrew Wiebe, who nailed the Dos a Zero scoreline, I'm your host, Jason Saghini. And Andrew, we're going to have some fun today. We're going to look at the US roster as we see it heading to Brazil at this point. But first, a big congratulations to the US team for qualifying for Brazil. Okay, with that out of the way, let's take a quick look back at the Mexico game. And Andrew, give me one positive and one negative that you took out of that game in Columbus.
Well, on the positive side, I think it's clear that the U.S. has the depth to adapt to absences. Those much publicized suspensions and injuries didn't seem to affect them all that much against Mexico. They switched it up tactically. They went to a counterattacking style, and Mexico did not adapt. They couldn't get it done in the final third. On the negative side, I think it's still clear that Jurgen Klinsmann doesn't know who his number one right back is. Brad Evans has that spot, not really a right back by trade, and you see multiple guys shuffling through that position in these two qualifying games. That's a question that has to be answered.
Yeah, I think we saw three options at right back during these games, none of which really sold us on someone as a starter. Now we take a look into our crystal ball. We're going to take our first stab at who we think will make up Klinsmann's side in Brazil. The roster decision is about 7 or 8 months away, and there will be a lot going on between now and then. Plenty of games, but Andrew, let's have some fun. Let's let the debate begin.
Well, Jason, the debate has already begun. It's been probably a year since people started guessing at that 23-man roster, and we are going to do our best to do so right here, right now.
So we're going to get to this debate and have a little fun. Let's take a look at the plane on the runway right now and see how we're going to fill it. There's a lot that we agree on. When you look at the starters at this point, they're going to populate first class on this Brazil-bound plane. Tim Howard, Omar Gonzalez, Matt Besler, DeMarcus Beasley, and Brad Evans have first-class seats for now, for sure.
Yeah, well, you look at right back. We mentioned it. The big wild card here is Steve Cherundolo's health. Can he get back to full strength? And if he does, is he a guy that they plug in there?
Yeah, and then you move into the midfield, and Bradley and Jones might as well be sitting in the cockpit because they are firmly entrenched in that starting lineup. The next line in front of them in the 4-2-3-1, as of now, we think it's Donovan, Dempsey, and Zuzi. And of course, Jozy Altidore is going to be leading that front line.
Yeah, there's some other guys in there, though. The Fabian Johnson question is still up in the air. Is he a left back? Is he a left winger? Is he going to play right back? For me, I think he's on the left wing. If he is, Donovan's on the right. But for now, I think Graham Zusi, the better pick on the right there.
All right, for me, I actually had Fabian Johnson as a starting left back in my lineup come Brazil next year. I do appreciate, though, what DeMarcus Beasley has done. I just think Fabian Johnson, for me, offers a little bit more going forward that they're going to want to see. But let us know what you think in the comments below. Who would you rather see at left back, Beasley or Fabian Johnson? When you get back to coach, you're looking for a lot of things. You're looking for depth at each position, different looks you can give from your starting lineup, experience, etc. So here are the guys we agree on the back half of the roster, and we're going to start with two defenders, Jeff Cameron and Fabian Johnson.
Yeah, well, we mentioned Fabian Johnson. It all comes down to versatility. He can play throughout those two flanks. And on the other side, Jeff Cameron is a picture of that. Center back, central midfield, right back. He can play all over for Jurgen Klinsmann. So while he may be listed as a defender, he can move into that midfield just as well. And don't forget the backups to Tim Howard, Brad Guzan, and Nick Rimando.
Sure, and in the middle of the field, we both see Kyle Beckerman, Alejandro Bedoya, and Mix Diskerud going to Brazil. This covers them in central midfield on the defensive side and the attacking side, as well as an extra wing player. And then up top, we both see Eddie Johnson and Aaron Johansson on the right side of this roster decision.
Yeah, we saw Eddie Johnson's value in that game against Mexico. He is a shoe-in to replace Jozy Altidore. If he's not there, he can hold the ball. On the other side, Aaron Johansson, there's been a lot of chatter. He doesn't have the caps needed. He's not familiar with this team. Well, that didn't seem to matter when Herculez Gomez and Robbie Finley went to South Africa. I think Johansson is going to have plenty of time to get caps in the next 8 or 9 months or so. He's a guy that's going to be very, very valuable 1v1 for this team.
Now we have 3 more seats on the plane, and Andrew, you and I have different people filling those seats. So give the fans your picks on the final 3 roster spots.
Yeah, it's two defenders and a forward. My defenders, Michael Parkhurst and Clarence Goodson. Goodson made his value known against Mexico. Parkhurst did the same, but he has to find a club in the winter where he can play and be on form come Brazil. That forward, Herculez Gomez. He's injured right now, I know, but I think Jurgen Klinsmann rates him, and he's versatile. He can play in the middle. He can play on the right. He's dogged, a great sub option off the bench.
All right, well, I think you went a little safe here. I lean towards some riskier upside picks. I like Herculez Gomez. I like what he has to offer. I just don't know that if he's going to come back from that injury. I have Tim Chandler and John Brooks cracking the team over Parkhurst and Goodson. I know Chandler has been an enigma until now, but I think the talent is there, and he has 6.5 months now to earn that spot. As far as the last pick, Sacha Kljestan, I really like his mentality, his experience, and versatility. I think he may not have been in this camp, but he will get looks, and he will prove that Jurgen Klinsmann can't leave him at home. As with any roster decision, there are going to be guys on the outside looking in, Andrew. So as far as the last guys cut, give me your picks.
Yeah, it's a big group. It really speaks to the U.S. depth at this point. John Anthony Brooks for me, Edgar Castillo, Michael Orozco, Joe Corona, Jose Torres, Brad Davis, and finally Terrence Boyd. I think the thing that sets these guys apart, I've really harped on it, is versatility. You only have 23 guys. Things are going to happen. There will be suspensions. There will be injuries. You have to have pieces that can fit into different holes.
All right, I have a few of the guys who are on your roster, Clarence Goodson, Michael Parkhurst, and Herculez Gomez, just on the outside looking in. Also, Jose Torres, Brad Davis, Breck Shea, a guy who I think is going to get healthy and try to push for a spot here, and Terrence Boyd. But another guy who's on my radar, or right off the radar, I should say, is Juan Agudelo. I think Agudelo can get himself back in this picture with a strong finish to the season for the Revolution, and then he'll move to Stoke. If he can crack their lineup, I think he's a guy that Klinsmann has to consider at worst for the camp next year.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for him. However, look, going to the EPL midseason is hard. He's struggled with health. My guy is Tim Chandler. We have talked about that right back situation at length. He could be the solution. Keyword could. He's got to commit himself and get into these camps and really perform for that to happen.
All right, Andrew, let me ask you, a guy headed in the other direction who's on the radar now, but you think he maybe is going in the wrong direction as far as making that team come June.
Yeah, Herculez Gomez is that guy. Look, as I said, I think Klinsmann rates him. He's got to get healthy, though. He's got to get on the field for Club Tijuana, and he's got to prove that he is still a dangerous goal-scoring threat in the Mexican League. If he can do that, I think he's there. If he can't, he's got some guys nipping at his heels.
Yeah, again, just worried about the injuries with him. For me, it's Michael Parkhurst, and it's about that versatility that you mentioned. I just don't – he's a stay-at-home right back, and he's good. I don't think he gets forward enough, and I think you want someone a little bit more dynamic. Because, look, Brad Evans can play that stay-at-home right back if you need. I think Parkhurst is moving off the radar unless he finds a club, starts playing really well, and pushes himself forward. Of course, we want to know what you guys think. Where are we right? Where are we wrong? Who do you want to see push into the mix here? Let us know in the comments section below. We will be back on another edition of Brazil Bound soon. For our producer, John Benton and Andrew Wiebe, I'm Jason Saghini. Thanks for joining us.